Okay, guys, good morning. This is Jonah Bunch with Bunch's Diesel Performance. Today's video is going to be, what do you call it? The trades.
Yeah.
It's more it's going to be. So this is going to be a lot of the trades. There's going to be a little bit of framing and a little bit of the metal work in this one too. But Noah, so Noah is my brother, Jonah Noah, if you didn't figure that out. But he's 2 years younger than me, and Noah started his own business doing electrical, water, HVAC, a little bit of all the trade kind of stuff.
Yeah, mainly
So,
electrical though.
yeah, primary electrical. So, guys, we're just going to kind of do an overview of what we did on this project, and then kind of let Noah describe what he does, and kind of go from there. So, Noah, introduce yourself.
Okay.
Introduce your business, and
Okay.
tell us about that.
I'm Noah Bunch. You hadn't figured that out by now. So my business is Zion Electric. We do residential and commercial electric work. We service the Sevier County, Knox County, Granger County, and then kind of any of the surrounding areas.
Like the greater Knoxville
kind of the greater Knoxville area. Do most of the work, I'd say, in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg right now, but it kind of changes. Do a lot of new construction. That's mainly what I specialize in.
Primary thing. Yeah.
Primary thing, but I also do generator installs, whole home generators. I do EV chargers. We also do like service calls, like just to come out to people's houses and check on small things that are needing work. And we do like full remodels. So I'd say that's.
Now you've also been doing, I know, a lot of the panel changeouts.
Yeah, do a lot of panel change-outs.
Popular
That's
too.
pretty big because in a lot of days, a lot of the older houses have 100, 125 amp panels, and then all these newer homes have, people want to put in larger HVAC systems or hot tubs or Tesla chargers and stuff, and that will start to overload that small panel. Right. So you have to upgrade that to a 200 or something like that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Cool deal. So how did you get into the electrical business? I know. So I guess give a little more background and stuff. So Noah got out of college, was an engineer, mechanical engineer. Worked in Oshkosh Defense.
Yep.
For a while in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then moved back and worked for Y12.
Yep.
And then got married and kind of wanted a little more control over your life.
Yep.
Started
my own thing. Yeah. So started out, like I said, I was a mechanical engineer. With that, I did do a lot of electrical stuff, like in the jobs I had, working with large machinery or vehicles that needed different types of
upfitting
yeah. Or wiring, or it was more control wiring versus like power wiring, for a house. It was more like smaller wires, control wires, and running tests and stuff like that. So I was familiar with how electricity worked and stuff like that. But I kind of, like he was saying, I was getting a little, I like to work with my hands a little more, and I was getting a little,
I like to have was more hands off.
Hands off, and I wanted a little more like I said, control over, what work I put in is what the work I can get out. Like sure. I can get what I put out of it. So I kind of was looking to kind of start something on my own. I hadn't really fully figured it out, and our younger brother Jacob, he was involved with an apartment, a large apartment. It was building 3 apartment complexes, and he was kind of helping like GC some of that. He was the GC over that, and so then he was talking about they couldn't find a commercial electrician to come and do that, and so I decided I kind of know about how to do some of that stuff. So I went and studied and took the commercial electrician test and got my license, and then I started on those apartments, and that gave me a lot of work right up off the bat.
Right.
To kind of get my feet.
I was there, 6 months or so?
Yeah, and so that gave me a good amount of consistent work to like get stuff built while I was doing that.
Yeah, because really when you're doing an apartment like that, I think those was quadplexes.
Yeah. So there was 12 total.
12 total units. So then you've essentially independently wired 12 houses back to back, just right on top of each other. Yeah. So, but Noah's a little modest too, because, he's like, I just went and got my commercial electric license. So Noah's a very, very intelligent guy. And most people study a long time to get those, and 3 months down the road he turned around, I've got my commercial electric license. I was like, what? So he's pretty modest, but like I said, he's a very good electrician. He's really good at figuring things out. So guys, we're gonna get started. All right, guys, just gonna give y'all a shot of kind of the skeleton of the shop before we get it finished framing up. They're gonna start putting the metal and stuff on. So in here is where our detail bay is gonna go. Got some of the wiring run for the outside lights, so he's got to finish the wiring in here. This is going to be our detail shop. We've got the drains and such in the middle. This in here is going to be the employees' break room. So we've got a break room that will end up going to frame up a cleaning room and a little paint room. So we'll have a kitchen in here, full bathroom for them, and a utility room. And then coming back out here, this door actually is going to get framed down because we decided we don't really need a garage door size opening in between here. So it's going to be framed down to a regular size door. This is where our parts room is going to go. So the way this is laid out, we're going to have parts shelves built all the way around this here, and then cabinets and things in the middle. So all of our parts will get to be organized a little better than what we've got now. Should triple or a little more than triple the current inventory we have, which should really help, as far as keeping stuff in stock to get stuff on the road faster. We're going to have it laid out currently for 4 lifts out through here, and then we'll have a extra storage station back here in the back with like some bigger stuff. So like it's where like motors, pallets of things like that. That's good. We'll have that, keep that stuff in stock, and it'll all be back there. Out here is where we'll kind of keep our waste oil containers, propane tanks for heat, other odd stuff like that. So just kind of want to give you all a shot of the skeleton of the shop and a walkthrough of kind of what we've got going on before they get metal on, because they're supposed to start metal this afternoon and then kind of get everything covered up. So this is kind of where we're at so far. We'll update you when we get a little farther. That door, and the bathroom, but there's also going to be a shower and stuff in here. So, no, I'm not talking about adding 4 or 5 more. I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to do, because you're doing rows of 4, 6 rows of 4. Like, if we want to come in between the 2 rows.
Alright, so other than a couple spots, the tin for the walls is up. The light fixtures are all up. There's no lights in them, but the fixtures and the wiring's all done. So they just need, I guess, lights put in them, and then that's completely done. The doors are all on, like the man doors. Still waiting on the actual bay doors. And then once those are on, then this building will basically be completely enclosed. Shop here, we're getting a bunch of stuff set up. So we've got Noah back finishing up our electrical, and our electrical over here for the mechanic stations, and then we got our guys putting in the Challenger lifts going in today, so we're getting that put up. Noah's
so he's going to go through here and we're going to get all the water hopefully hooked up either today or tomorrow too. So like I said, we'll leave these guys alone, let them get to work, and then do some more shots after we get a little farther along. So Noah, why do we have to run all this in conduit?
Just because it's going to be exposed, and otherwise you have your.
Because I was like, hey, we could just put the yellow cable across to there and it'd be fine because it's up out of the way. He's like, no, we can't do that because
crack into it and cut it in half and start a fire or something like that. It just protects it.
And then it's your fault, right?
That's right. It's my fault. If something else happens.
So, like I said, he's running this around through here. We're gonna make sure not give away any trade secrets, but we're gonna come in and it's gonna come up through there. So we'll have a junction box here. Then we can, again, if we decide to move this shelving or whatever, we can just disconnect it here and cut that wire out, move whatever we need to, and have it put back in. So he's gonna run this over and get this finished up. Getting the second lift put up. Give you all a shot how we got. So we're gonna set them up at an angle so you'll pull the trucks in, and you're gonna get to pull in. I'll do a flip around in a second to show you that. But we're getting the secondary lift put in. And then we've got a 10K, and there's a 12 going over here in the corner. And then he wanted to leave this open for now. We've got another spot for another 10 here, and then another 12 in that corner. So just kind of depends on how we want the shop to lay out. Because a lot of times when you've got open bays, it's easier to work on certain things without putting them on the lift. So we're going to kind of leave a few spots open right now, and then as we grow, and I just kind of let the techs have as what they want. So I've got one guy that really just does not like using lifts. So his station's down there on the end, and it doesn't have any lifts in it because unless he has to pull a transmission or something like that, he doesn't want to use the lift. So there's no point in putting one there. Whereas Bailey and the other guys like to use the lift a little bit more often. So we're going to kind of set their stations up for lifts. So we kind of, like I said, I try to make it simple for them and let them have more what they want, because the better and more comfortable they are in their work environment, the better job they do. So this is kind of what we've got going on now. And as they finish up, like I said, we're going to get these two put in, get the air compressors and everything else hooked up. And then Noah, I think, is actually in the attic right now finishing up the electrical. And so then we'll get all that figured out today. And then maybe we do a walk around either this afternoon or tomorrow and show you how it all turned out. So step one in getting power to the new shop was we had to have our local power company come in and put in a new pole. So what they did is they come set the pole here, tied in the electrical to this point, and then what are you responsible for as far as setting a pole up?
Yeah, so I'm not really responsible for any of the pole or the transformer. That's all utility. My responsibility is, depending on the size of the service, I run the underground conduit for them to connect, for them to run the wire and connect into the service.
Right.
So if it's this was underground, if it's overhead, I am responsible for building and pulling the wire into the weatherhead. But on underground, with different power companies, with Appalachian, for example, I just lay the underground conduit and they pull the wire to the meter box, which we'll get to in a second.
Right. So with this one, this building is a 400 amp service. So a typical house is what, 200?
Typical, yeah.
So a typical house is 200. This is a 400. So typically you use what, 2.5 inch conduit?
2.5, yeah.
And this has to be 4. So it's a lot more conduits because the wires are significantly bigger. So we had to run 4 inch from there, and then we also run.
So we ran a 4 inch for the main electrical service. We ran a 2 inch for future, maybe a sub panel.
The way to get under the driveway if we needed to.
And then we ran a 1 inch for them to run the fiber, which is the lowest wire there.
So any time you all see that, the lowest wire is the fiber wire. So they've got the fiber run through it already. So now we're going to kind of transfer back over to the electrical panel on the outside and kind of go from there in. All right, guys. So over here at their exterior, would it be called a panel?
Yeah, they call it the meter base.
Okay.
So this is our 4 inch that we was talking about coming in. So we had to have a ditch inspection for when we put in the conduit. This is your main panel. This is the ground bar or ground wire going down. And this is your fiber that we just showed you. And this is the extra conduit. But right here, this is your main power comes into the meter so that the power company can read how much power you're using. And then here we have 2 external disconnects. Since this is 400, we have a 200 amp and a 200 amp. One for each panel. Is inside, you'll see we have 2 200 amp panels.
Okay. So those are main breakers for the main panels.
Yeah. So if you wanted to just shut off one of those panels in there, you could shut it off. And that's good, because if we want to later connect into a whole home generator or transfer switch, we could just connect it to one of these
particular
breakers, which is what we plan on doing.
Right. All Cool. The reason we went underground instead of overhead is due to the driveway we've got here. Plus, I mean, you know, especially kind of being out on a farm area, the least amount of poles you can have, it just looks nicer because you can't really even tell that there's a power line running to this building, except right here on the side of the wall. So it just kind of makes it look a little cleaner, which is why we went with the underground. All right, guys. So in here, this is the 2 disconnects then come in through these cables into each panel.
So these are your service wire cables. I ran them in conduit to protect them a little bit.
Yep.
Those will run in. They come into your main bus right here, and then you run down and you put in your breakers. You know, so this panel. So we've got breakers here, got them labeled. We've got a few extra ones for future stuff.
Yep.
Already ran up there. So each breaker powers a certain location in the room. So like we powered certain plugs, the lift plugs, certain lifts, the weld plugs, different things. And so your main comes in here. You could shut off the whole panel here as well as outside, and then individually turn off each
right. And the way we've got this laid out currently, guys, is we've kind of bounced the high circuit items, the welders, the air compressors, the things like that in between both panels, so that way we're not overloading one panel with current. I don't think we're ever going to have that problem, but just to be safe, we kind of did it that way. Now, something too, guys, if you are out looking for an electrician, go ask them to go look at some of the work they've done in the past, because something that, you know, is very important to us, and, you know, should be important to you if you're going to spend this kind of money doing any kind of electrical service, is look at how neatly they do their job. So like if you look at these wires, everything's nicely stapled together, everything flows nice. And I may have a shot of behind the box I can throw in here. Is like even behind this box that you're never going to see, the wires are tucked, they're nice, they're labeled. So people like that take pride in the work that they're doing, and it really makes a big difference in the long-term longevity of that. So just kind of wanted to say that. So what we're going to do now is kind of going to start working on some of the, I guess, unique electrical accessories that we added in while we was doing it. So a couple things real quick, like we've got that's our fiber wire and router and all that stuff comes through there, and he run plugs for that. Right under there, is a sensor for this room, so that we didn't want to have a light switch having to find it. So anytime you open this door,
lights will kick on.
The lights automatically kick on, so you're not ever in here in the dark.
Yeah, and then over here we've got a timer. It's a digital timer. You set it up to set different times of the day. What it does, it kicks on his exterior soffit lights, which we can show you here in a minute, but it just automatically will come on at the time of day that we set. So throughout the year, you can adjust that if you want to. It's pretty easy. But,
so that's kind of a couple little electrical things, and we'll get into some more of that outside. But while we're in here, Noah also did all the plumbing in this building. So we're going to go through the plumbing sector real quick and let him explain to you how that comes in and goes out. So let me kind of give you a little reposition here.
All right.
So again, being out here on the farm, we have the wells that we're using here have been dug for, I mean, I think that one well was dug in the early 1900s. I mean, they're really old wells. Yeah. So they produce a lot of water. I didn't want to take a chance, and we've got our house set up the same way. So Noah, kind of give us a rundown on how the water gets into the building.
So the water comes from outside. Maybe we can throw a shot of that. Yeah. It comes all the way to here. The main line, which is the top one, will run over, comes to the shutoff valve. If you're wanting to shut we have multiple shutoff valves at each section of the building, so you can shut it off.
You can fill the water anywhere you need to.
Comes into this filter. This takes out large sediment, I believe this one does. And then it comes into this whole home filtration system, 3 different stages. And then once it purifies the water, we come into this tank, which is just a holding tank. And this holding tank comes down into a pump, which is
how big is that holding tank? 250. So for example, then the reason we did this is if we have a well problem and the well needs to be shut off for 3 or 4 days or whatever the case may be as it gets maintained, we still have 250 gallons of usable water in the building.
Exactly.
So
and then we come from the pump down there. There's a tank. There's a pump tank under here, and it pumps, and that tells you from this tank it won't have as much pressure coming out. So that rebuilds your pressure back up to send it through the house. But first, it sends it to this water softener. This is a brine tank, and this is your salt tank. And so it goes through that. And so after it's filtered, tank pumps it into the softener, it softens it, and then it pumps it back up through
all the plumbing. So
all the plumbing.
Rotate over here.
And then it comes over here where it comes in, and then it'll split into the water heater, and then we split it off into cold and hot throughout the house. And we did a manifold, just a homemade manifold system, so you can shut off, the shower if you want to shut off the shop sink.
So that way, if you've got any individual thing in the building that's leaking, you can kill one circuit and not have to kill the whole thing. Essentially, just like a breaker box.
Yes, for water.
Yeah, for water.
Yes.
What is the thing on the back of the hot water heater?
So this is a, I just blanked. This is a thermal expansion tank. This is just for protecting the tank.
Just protect the tank in case so it don't blow up.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this is going to be our utility room. We're going to go outside now and start showing you the outside. So we're going to start with the lift. So Noah designed the electrical system in these lifts. Let me run to this other side real quick. Okay. So the way there's actually 3 circuits on each lift. So we've got the main wire that feeds the lift, and it goes up through there, and it's all labeled. So you've got 1 circuit on this side and then 2 on this other side. So show us.
Yeah, so that one over there powers the actual lift.
Yeah.
Then we've got a circuit that comes down here, and this is for a welding plug. That way, while they're working on the vehicles, they have a place to hook up to their welder. And then here you just have your own, like an individual 20-amp circuit for whatever, a light, extension cord, battery charger, anything like that.
Yeah. So those are
so
all,
each lift has its own setup just like that.
Yeah. So then that lift over there is set up the exact same way.
And they're on their own separate dedicated circuit, so it's not pulling power off of that one.
Right. Okay.
And then we come over here to each workstation.
We use Bailey's, for example.
This is Bailey's. I come through the ceiling. We came through here, and we got 1, 2. There's 3 plugs out through here just for them to have power everyone. And it's easily modified. If we wanted to pull a light up or add an extra switch somewhere, we could just pull into that, cut into that conduit, and add.
That's the nice thing about doing the conduits. You can just kind of build on it as you want to go.
Yes.
Let's see. Let's pan over and do.
And then over here,
Wesley Station.
Yeah. So we dropped down
the parts room station.
Came down. We ran along the parts shelf here into a little plug for Wesley Station. I think later, maybe once he gets finalized, we talked about
kind of changing that up.
Maybe adding some. We left a little box here so I could pull down and jump power to somewhere else if you needed to for something else. But that's kind of the system for that. So there's some more drops on that workstation. If you see throughout the building, there are various drops from everywhere it comes down. That's a dedicated circuit. Over there, we have a dedicated circuit for the porta cool. That one's for the sandblaster, things like that. And then over there against the wall, you'll see that's our main switch system. We've got 6 switches. I left a spot to add for maybe a future fan or something like that on the right. So what these are high bay Lithuania, I think is the brand lights. They are up to 30,000 lumens.
Okay.
But we've got them set on 24,000.
So we've got them turned down as low as they will go.
Yeah. So you originally started, Jonah wanted 24 lights to light it up. Once we got him in there, he was like, let's make it brighter. So we added 15 more. So there's 39 total of these high bay lights.
Yep.
And most time, as you see bright enough, just using the main ones, it's very bright. But if you wanted to add the extra brightness, you can hit the other switches and add some extra.
Sure. The other lights that we added was in here in the wash bay.
Yep. So this is for the detailing wash bay room. So these are some custom lights you bought?
Yeah, they're like medical grade lights, yes.
Yeah, so you can tell they're real bright, and it really shows all the details in here. But
yeah.
These are nice lights as well.
So on the outside, this is, again, what the timer is hooked to is our can lights. The floodlights there in the corners will be on a switch, and they're all hooked together.
Yep.
But in the afternoon, I think you've got it set at 6 o'clock or something.
Yep.
All these can lights come on, so it's just a nice ambient light around at night.
Yeah, I believe you've got 5 total floodlights, and I think we did 24, 22, something like that. Soffit can lights around.
And Jenna's liked them so much, we're gonna have to put them on the other building now. So, we'll go through this water real quick. So these are kind of unique. We wanted to have these for inside and out. Mm-hmm. So kind of give us a rundown.
So we've
how this
got
works.
3 stations at 3 mixer valve stations. One here, one in the wash bay, and one in the main shop. It gives you the ability to have hot water and cold water at your spigot instead of just your standard, cold water spigot.
Yeah. So you can do straight hot, cold,
or get it to the
just like a shower.
Yes,
so it's essentially just an outdoor shower bib. So and those have been really nice, like on the cooler mornings if he's out here washing, having that warm water, and the warm water pulls the dirt off a lot better too.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Cool deal. Okay, guys. So to wrap this video up, we just want to thank you all for watching again, and a big thanks to Noah for coming out and doing this project with us. Guys, Noah, how do they get a hold of you if you want to get a hold of you for any kind of electrical work?
Yeah, so you can give us a call at 865-805-4561, or you can check out our website and fill out a questionnaire, and it will send me an alert to come out and quote it. It's ZionElectricTN.com, or you can check out our Facebook there. So,
So, guys, thank you all once again for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.